Hey guys, this is Miss Bergen, and I want to get on here and I love to read to y'all in class different art books about different artists or different artworks that we were studying. And so if you chose the Mary Blair art lesson, here is the book called Pocket Full of Colors, The Magical World of Mary Blair, Disney Artist and Extraordinaire. Under a wide blue sky, on a red dirt road, in a lemon yellow house, there lived a little girl named Mary. Other children collected marbles or dolls, but Mary collected colors of every shade and every hue. One day, Mary's parents announced they were moving out west. As she waved goodbye to the yellow house, Mary tucked her friend Lemon in her pocket. Mary would miss the happy home, but she had new colors to collect. Driving across the sun-bleached desert, Mary spied rusted taupe and sienna. When she arrived in California, she glimpsed the azure ocean and found graves of golden fruit dripping from viridian trees. In the city, she discovered steel gray buildings and mauve-tinted skies. She opened her sketchbook. Mary mixed her color paints. She saved these shades for just the right time. When she was older, Mary went to art school. She met Lee. He showed her rosy pink and blushing red. She kept those colors in her heart. Together, Mary and Lee painted rainbows, but it was the Great Depression and people were poor. No one was buying rainbows except one place. Mary landed a job at Walt Disney Studios, one of the first women ever to be hired. Finally, a place for her colors to run and dance and play as they pleased. And look, there's Walt Disney. But on her first day of work, the men in charge didn't want to talk about Cerulean or Celadon or Crerise. They were interested in black and white. Mary was told to follow the rules. So do you think, guys, they're gonna like all the colors that she chose? I don't know, we'll see. She tried, but her colors were too vivid or too wild. When Mary turned in her work, all her ideas were rejected. Now guys, how do you think that makes Mary feel after working so hard on all these creative colors? Twinkling emerald skies, the men turned them blue. Magenta horses that could fly, the men turned them brown and put them in a stable. Peach giraffes with tangerine spots, her bosses shook their heads. They didn't know what to make of her art. But Walt, the man who owned the company, did. He loved her colors so much, he asked Mary to join him on a trip to South America to meet some new ones. Now guys, look at all of the variety of color you see in here. Do you think it's dull or bright? Mary delighted in the colors of Brazil, Argentina, and Peru. She worked hard to capture the vibrant scenery. When it was time for her to go home, Mary's bags burst of fuchsia, teal, aquamarine, indigo, lime green, and banana yellow. After Mary returned to Disney, her concept art of the studio's upcoming film grew more and more adventurous. She drew up the eye-opening shades she observed in South America. Cinderella needed a teal pumpkin coach. The caterpillar of Alice in Wonderland could only be aquamarine, and the mermaids of Peter Pan simply had to be lime green. This time, some of Mary's ideas were accepted, but most of her art was still considered too modern, too abstract, and just not right. Mary's colors encouraged her to leave the men with their black lines and strict rules. And so she did. I wonder where she's going to be off to next. Mary quickly found new work designing advertisements, illustrating pictures, books for kids, and creating sets for plays and television commercials. She enjoyed the freedom of these new jobs, but Mary missed Walt. Then One day, out of the blue, her phone rang, and it was Walt. "Mary, I have a project for you. I need your wild and beautiful colors," his voice boomed. Walt explained his idea to build a magical ride that would teach people about cultures from all around the world. The ride was to be full of color, which meant there was only one person for the job. "Mary, you know about colors I've never heard of before." Mary smiled. And then she frowned and she remembered the rules and the lines and the men in charge who didn't understand the colors or her style of art. There was only one way to answer. "Yes," Mary said, but her yes came with a condition. This time, Mary wanted to be the one in charge. Walt welcomed her aboard. Mary's paints seemed to sparkle, and when she hung up the phone, she had never been to places like China or Morocco or Kathmandu, but her colors had. Now guys, I want you to figure out what colors are your favorites in here and all the different artworks that she's created. And sitting down to work, she squeezed out the dabs of paint: lemon yellow, aquamarine, azure, mauve, taupe, tangerine, rust, sienna, steel gray, celadon, cerulean, cerise, magenta, teal, indigo, emerald shined from her palette. And when she picked up her brush, the colors Mary had so carefully collected all her life took her on a trip around the globe. And when the work was done, the ride opened. People gasped in awe, and it was a small world was a sensation. Has anyone been to Disney World or Disneyland before? She helped with the ride. It's a small world. I've definitely ridden on it several times with my family. And when it's Mary's turn to take a ride, she leaned back in the boat, let her colors wash over her. It was a world of laughter, a world of smiles, and color, color, color everywhere. This, at last, was Mary's world. The end.